And
All right. We did it.
you did it.
Did it. Anyway, what I was saying was this is a spider plant and it's having babies. And these little flowers, usually I just think that they all open and then eventually fall off.
Mm,
But I've never like slept this close to one of my plants before. And they open and then they close. I
I
just
love
can't
that so
believe it.
much.
I just can't. I thought that they opened and they stayed open. Dave must have known because he looks at this thing all the time. Anyway, I'm having a new experience with a plant that I've owned for like 15 years.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah.
Like, you have such a special relationship with plants. I love that that relationship hasn't grown stale and that you guys still have mystery in your relationship.
We do. Look at her.
Oh, wow.
Incredible.
So big. Takes up so much space. It's so proud to be there.
I know. I know. Um, and this plant is a descendant from my aunt. I think I've talked about this. My aunt has a plant that she started in the 80s. And then it went through my
Wow.
mom and my grandma. And I've had to repot this one a few times, and she's been all over the goddamn fucking country with me, I swear to God. But anyway, that's making me happy. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm pretty excited. I've got the game to look forward to. There's a Chiefs game today,
Mm,
but it's on Fox, which I don't have access to. But I went last night with some coworkers for like a monthly social Saturday thing, and there happened to be someone on the team who smokes weed and actually was here when we first did our housewarming party before the fire. And so she likes the Chiefs. Her husband doesn't. He's just a big nerd that wants to play with Legos.
mm.
So, but she's like, I have Fox. So if you want to, we're probably going to cook out and you can just come over and watch the game with us. And if it were someone else, then I might be like, I don't know, being trapped at your house for over 3 hours. But
Mm.
because it's them, I know that my husband can go off with Brandon and they can talk about nerdy stuff, play with Legos, and smoke weed, and then she and I can be drinking beer and yelling at the TV screen. It'll be a complete reversal. The husbands go off and gossip, and then we'll watch sports. It's fun.
Well, that's very
So,
classic gender roles.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for
Yeah.
it because I'm not used to watching the Chiefs game in person with anyone besides my mother.
Mm.
Um, so it's going to be an interesting experience. I love my mother and I love sharing the Chiefs games with her, but it's still fun to do something different because I have no other Chiefs friends in my life
Yeah.
besides that. So yeah,
Uh,
I'm excited.
what state is the Chiefs your state?
Yeah, it's KC, Missouri
Oh,
is
okay.
they're from.
The colors I get mixed up with Cleveland.
Oh, I think the Clevelands are more orange, whereas the Chiefs are red. I think the Browns are like orange and
Cleveland
black.
Indians? What is Indians? Baseball?
Maybe, yeah. The Cleveland
Yeah.
Browns are the football team, the NFL.
Yeah. I get mixed up the Cleveland Indians and your team.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. See, I don't know anything about baseball. Teams, at least. I know the general concept of baseball, but I don't know the teams. So, speaking of baseball, another exciting thing happening is we're going to take our first vacation in like 6 years.
Whoa, where are you going?
We're going to go to Arizona in February, and we're going to go to this music festival called Innings. um, because my partner's favorite band of all time, right now, at least in this stage of our life, is 21 Pilots, and they're playing at that festival. And I only just learned when we were talking about this that 21 Pilots apparently helped save our marriage because
Oh, really?
when we were in our darkest stage, and he was in his darkest time in his life, he was wanting to shut off and just Like it was not a fun time. Like the work hours and everything was making everything higher. And so apparently the music and the messages in some of those songs really like helped him hold through when he wasn't able to communicate what he was feeling.
Mm,
And it's what encouraged him to like, no, you don't need to be, you need to appreciate the things that you have more than you do, and you need to not let these things go, um, because you'll regret it. And he wound up taking that and reevaluating everything. And it's just never been the same. And I had no idea that 21 Pilots played a part in that. I remember when it happened, I was like, wow, this is like a
you're
switch went
different
off. He
now,
just had
yeah.
an awakening, but like, no, it's from them. So we have to go see them, obviously. And this is his first ever concert. And
What?
I know. He's always been like, I'm just not a concert person. I can't imagine being around all those people and paying money and blah blah blah. And but like this is different. He's in a different stage in his life, and we're gonna do something totally crazy and go to a whole ass music festival. And it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be overwhelming, but
We don't know that.
I think it's gonna be worth it, whatever it
Well, it's
is.
gonna be because you just said it is. You just said it's gonna be a lot and it's gonna be overwhelming. So you set the stage right then and there. You have no
Well,
idea. You've never been. I can't move on. I can't like let this go. Okay? You're telling future you what kind of time you're gonna have already.
I mean, I'm
You
telling
have no
myself that it's gonna
idea.
be an amazing time. But we
You
also
also
are
are
trying
telling
to,
yourself that you are gonna be overwhelmed and you don't know
what?
that. You have no proof. You've not been there yet.
I think it's less so for me and more so for him because he has a physical
It
leg
doesn't,
situation.
regardless, it doesn't matter. Neither of you have had this experience. Where do you get this information that you're going to be overwhelmed? Who told
Be-
you?
because we've been to smaller events that are overwhelming and this thing is massive.
And what, you did that today?
No, but before his leg was broken. So,
And you guys are the exact same person you were the last time you went to any kind of concert. Is that what you're saying?
well, he's never been to a concert, but we went to a festival local that was smaller and it did wear on the leg. I
Okay.
should say when I'm saying overwhelming, I'm talking mostly about the physicality because he is literally disabled. But we're hoping that there is a tram, and we're hoping that if we play our cards right, we can plan things out so that there's not quite as much um, strain on the leg. And he's also making plans to not smoke weed as much so that there's not extra fatigue involved that might, because even though weed is used for obviously it's used for pain management, it also does the coming down from it and stuff like that does make him more tired, which makes other things more heightened. So we're making plans though because we want this to be the most incredible experience ever. Like we're trying to be feasible but not like rain on our own parade. And we're also trying to, because we're going to be saving up for this for a while,
Hmm.
so we're going to be using this as like inspiration and motivation to like keep each other in check. Like when we want to like splurge on something really expensive, we'll be like, but Tempe. So, and it
Yeah.
also has another really cool level of it where we're going to go to, because Tempe is right there by Phoenix. So we always wanted to dad nap his father because they had this memory when he was a baby of sitting on the front porch of their little house in the middle of nowhere in Phoenix and watching a storm off in the distance. And so we always wanted to dad nap him as adults and take him to Phoenix and like relive that kind of experience again, but as an adult. And we weren't able to do that when he was
Mhm.
alive. So what we're going to see about doing is we're going to see if his mother will give us some of his ashes, and then we can take it to Phoenix and spread
Ooh,
it in Phoenix.
that's
So
beautiful.
I don't know for sure if she's going to go for it, but I'm hoping. And even if she doesn't, we're still going to go, and we're just going to honor him that way.
Yeah, that's beautiful. The intention is everything there. But my purpose in saying that was to call out your language. We learned this in
Hmm.
trauma class, you know?
Yeah.
Like you literally set an intention that you are going to be overwhelmed, so that is what happens no matter what. because that's what your intention is, because you said it, right? So it's like a language thing. So like how can you say that differently where it's not setting up your future to be terrible?
Um,
It's a tough one.
yeah. I guess it's tough because I don't relate to it the same way. Like, it doesn't feel like an emotionally charged overwhelm. It feels like it feels like a statement of something that we just want to plan for as far as like what steps can we take between now and then to mitigate these things that these factors that would affect us a certain way. And that's kind of what we're doing. So I'm not thinking of it
No,
as
you
like,
have
oh man,
that.
I'm so
You have
stressed.
that. It's the literal words. You said it will be overwhelming. When a different way to say that would be it could be overwhelming. If it is,
Okay.
you have these plans.
Yeah, that's fair.
The way that you are speaking what your future is going to be is going to be a direct result of what your future will be.
Mm.
So, changing the way you say that is what it's the language hack of it all.
So it's from the would to the could is the main thing.
No, you said it will be overwhelming or will be overwhelmed or something. Like it was already set in stone. It
Hmm.
could be overwhelming, opens it up to a possibility of it not being overwhelming in ways that you think. Also, like I said, you have no proof that it is like where's the proof, right? That it is going to be overwhelming. You can't use
Hmm.
past experiences because you're a different person,
Hmm.
right? You can use it as a reference experience, but it's not an experience that either of you have really ever had before, right? Isn't that what you said?
Kinda, yeah. Um, but yeah, that's a good point. We should change it to could be overwhelming. That way we can still prepare for it without setting it in stone. So,
Yeah, I think that the single I've just am the I don't know, I used to speak very negatively and I used to speak very so sure of what kind of time I was going to have sometimes and it would not end up like that. And also just in recovery in general, the way that we speak about how things are going to be is pretty critical.
hmm,
Um because we will listen to ourselves and it will
that's fair.
validate if anything happens. If something does become overwhelming for like an hour, our brains will be like, "See, I told you.
Hmm.
I told you we'd get overwhelmed. I was right. Everything's always overwhelming." You know what I mean? That's
Hmm.
where the spiral hits.
That's true. It's important to account for those things so that the spiral doesn't come.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And not chalking the whole, and you're pretty good at this lately, not chalking the whole thing up to, well, we did it. It was overwhelming. Like, was the whole thing overwhelming the whole time? Like, what was the actual experience? Because then when you talk about your next experience, you can be like, okay, well, I know what I could expect, but I can't say that it will be the exact same experiences or challenges
Hmm.
of it all.
That's true.
This is very impressive that you guys are planning this.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. It it just started with finding out that they were performing in like a reasonable distance from us, but that they were all sold out. And then that started on the path of like, well, maybe we can find some place that they are performing at. And the only thing that wasn't either sold out or too expensive was the festival that was far enough away that maybe we could go. And then one thing led to another, and then we're planning a trip to Arizona. So yeah, we're going to be saving up a lot of money because we've not done something to this scale before. The closest would be when we went to Dallas for Mystery Science Theater Live, and that had its own complications. Um, but this is going to be a totally different thing, a totally different vibe. And I've never even been that far west. Like, the only time I've ever been to the southwest of the country was um, Vegas, and we flew there. So this is going to be a totally different experience. I'll get to see a bit of New Mexico. and bit of a bit more of Arizona, and I'm really excited. We're not going to be driving through Kansas. I hate driving through Kansas. There's nothing there. It is the worst. I mean, there's windmills or there's wind turbines, which is cool, but it's just
That's
every
not even
time we
that
drive.
special anymore because they're kind of everywhere. I feel like Kansas had some tumbleweeds when I drove through once. They don't have a lot.
We didn't have tumbleweeds. We just had green pastures and cows, which if you're from a place that doesn't have cows, sure that's fun, but I'm not from a place that doesn't have cows. So
Hmm.
basically it's nothing new. It's just so boring. At least driving through Missouri, there's beautiful trees to look at. Kansas is just green fields and cows. So boring. Maybe it would be fun for like a minute or two if you're not used to that, but we are so used to that. I would rather there be trees at least.
Yeah.
But
I'm from a
anyway,
place for cows too. And not
yeah,
only is it boring, well, like it's like not boring for 1 second and then it's boring forever.
yeah,
And it
exactly.
stinks like cow shit all the time. It's not good.
It's true. It's true. It's just like lake towns. Like when you drive through, it's like, oh, this is so pretty. But there are certain lake towns where you need to make sure that your windows are up because it smells
Yeah.
like a lake town. Like there are lakes that are cleaner than others. And we've driven through a lake town on our motorcycle back in the day that was not one of the cleaner lakes. And it was gorgeous if you were holding your nose, but like the lights on the water and everything. But the entire town smelled so bad, and we were on the bike, so we couldn't roll up our windows. It was just, oh, it was overwhelming. And then it was windy too. So like the air was like circulating even more in our face. It was bad.
Oh, so
Yeah.
disgusting, dude.
But yeah, I would still take that lake town over Kansas anyway, man. Kansas didn't do anything bad to me. I shouldn't be so mean to Kansas, but I just don't like it. And we had to drive through there to get to Colorado before weed was legalized all over the place.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so I'm excited. It's going to be a super new experience, and we have something to look forward to. For the first time in 6 years, we've got an actual vacation. I already like booked. We've got these really cheap hotel rooms, which I had to fight to get because they are the innings festival tickets. They had a pre-sale for like 1 hour, and we jumped on it. That's kind of why we decided to jump on it. We're like, this
Yeah.
pre-sale is 1 hour. They got us with the FOMO. And I'm glad that they did because now I don't know when they're going to come back on sale, but one of those ticket tiers is already sold out inside that 1 hour. And the hotel rooms for that weekend, I had such a hard time finding them. Like I had a place before the pre-sale started in a tab. I was ready to book it.
Mm.
And then but I didn't want to book it until I knew for sure I could secure the tickets. So when I finally secured the tickets, I went back and that room was gone. And then I had to go through a bunch of other ones. And they're like, well, you could get these fancy hotels that are like hundreds of dollars a night and have a nice luxurious experience. I'm like, we're going to a festival. We're going to be exhausted. We're going to come out of the hotel room. We're going to go spend the whole day at the festival. We're going to
Yeah.
come back and die.
Some
Like,
motel vibes.
we just need a cheap motel to lay our heads at night and hopefully we won't have bed bugs, but like just give us the cheap thing. And that was so hard. But we finally, like, I had to go through several different sites and cycle the same inventory that kept flipping through. And I
Mhm.
finally got one, and I'm like, yes. And it was not one of the super expensive ones, and it's only 6 minutes from the event, so that's pretty cool. And
Beautiful.
we got a halfway point too. That was like $33 a night. So, because it's like a 20-hour drive from
Hmm.
here to there, so we got to do a halfway point. And I was so lucky that there was a place in like Tucumcari or whatever that's like 33 a night. And so yeah, it's gonna be like a whole week, and then hopefully we can
Oh,
get time afterwards to recover because
but you
it's
guys
not gonna be a
fucking,
relaxing beach vacation.
yeah, but you guys fucking deserve it, man.
Yeah,
What
it's
are you doing
gonna
with
be
the
a big
pets?
adventure. Huh?
What are you doing
Oh,
with
the
the pets?
pets? We have a boarder here in town. We have a friend that works there, and so we're probably going to have them there. It's not like a kennel where they stay in a cage. They actually have these big rooms, and then they have these times where they go out and they play with them, and like the handlers play with them, and they play radio all the time, and it's really nice. Jonathan actually worked there for a minute whenever we needed extra work and couldn't do the full job. They let him do like a part-time gig where he helped like maintain the place and build things. for them, and it was pretty nice. So they're really great, and we're gonna use them, and we'll get a bundle if we do all three dogs for the whole time in like one room.
Beautiful.
I'm excited for them too.
Um, wow, that is such incredible news. I was not expecting any of this.
I know. Neither was I last week. It's just this is brand new. This is like few days old. This thing
Well,
happened.
well, thank you for letting me berate you about your language and the way you're thinking about the future. I know that was very abrupt, but I just couldn't let it go. And I want you to have a belief system where you're like, it always isn't the same way all the time.
Hmm.
You know, you've opened yourself up a lot to new things, and new things just keep on, the hits just keep on coming.
It's true.
The good
They
ones and
do
the bad
indeed.
ones, you know?
We've had no shortage of either of those, so
Yeah.
we know that's right.
All
Well,
right. Um,
with
well,
that, we can go into our quick intros.
let's do it.
Uh,
I'm a gay fag and I'm here to plan my week.
and her name is Michelle.
My name is Michelle.
My name is Scarlett, and I am a pan romantic ace person. And I'm also here to plan my week.
Cool.
So, this is an ADHD friendly planning meeting. We focus on structure, accountability, and flow. We want to show up for yourself, which means we want to practice time management, avoid burnout, want to make realistic plans, and become an on time person. We've actually, this is our first time in a while doing meeting that starts basically on time.
Yeah.
But that also means showing up even if you're not exactly on time, just come prepared to still give yourself to the whole time. I think that still counts.
Hmm.
Um, and then delegate when
Anytime
needed
that's
and
not
build.
starting for at least 15 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. So,
Yeah, like we're here, that's the important thing. And because it is ADHD focused, getting this like off track stuff in the beginning is also, I think, really important.
yeah.
Um, because otherwise you're going to jump in and your mind's going to be wandering. That's also part of why we do the brain dump, but
Hmm.
um, that's coming up. So tips for a successful planning meeting is we want to set the tone. So it's not just for planning, it's a ritual for clarity and alignment and caring for a future you. You want to be present, curious, and grounded, inspired. You want to curate the space. So we want to set a vibe and have lighting, comfy clothes, music, fidgets, fan, whatever makes you comfortable. So you're not focusing on those things when you're trying to plan. You want to have your basics handled, so snacks, water, stretching, what have you. And then you want to grab your tools. So that could be pens and notebooks, it could be laptop, calendar, things that help you focus. You want to use your resources. So for some people, that's just using a notebook, and some people, you might want to download the resources of the Daily Dandy and the Brain Dump Guide, which are you able to put that in the chat?
Yep, I'll do that now.
Awesome. And we also have a Notion template that you can duplicate to your own Notion account and use that to fill out. And these tools will help us clear lingering responsibilities so our thoughts can flow freely and with ease. So we already kind of did most of the 10 to 15-minute before we begin part. But I will say, we talked about before doing a what are we reading, where there's a
Mhm.
space if we want to share anything. I do want to share one thing. It is from a story that I'm reading right now, which is technically book two of a series, but there's one excerpt that I want to share. And it's basically it's a follow-up story that focuses on this old woman who finds herself in the care of a young boy who, in my opinion, is coded as being on the spectrum, but it's not listed in there. But it also just in general goes on about found family and accepting help, and there's also, my thing is being slow. But it's also letting herself be taken in by a chosen family, accepting love, and having responsibilities that you yourself agree to that can still be overwhelming. And she goes through this period of time where she shames herself for feeling stressed out and feeling overwhelmed. Like, I love this boy and I agreed to take care of him. So, really, I shouldn't be feeling this way because I did this to myself. I agreed for all these things, and yet I'm stressed out about it. But there is one quote in here that says, I have it somewhere. And I do. Here it is. So it says, it was natural to chafe under a yoke of obligation, even one you had chosen for yourself. So she allowed herself to feel annoyance for just a moment before releasing it out into the still morning to burn up like the mist in the rising sun. So it kind of harkens to the letting yourself feel things and not holding on to it forever, but acknowledge it and then just kind of letting it go into the universe. And that can apply to anything, but in this particular situation, it's especially about responsibilities that you take on yourself. That you might feel like, I have no right to be stressed about this. I brought it on myself. But it's like, no, they still count. It still counts as stress. It still
Mhm.
counts as obligation. So you're allowed to feel overwhelmed by that, but don't let it run your life. Accept that it's there, accept that it's a lot, and then allow yourself to let it go without shame. Um, so
What?
I really appreciated that line and it really stuck out to me. So I wanted to pull that out and share it today.
What is the line again?
Uh, it was actually, I can paste it into the chat real
Yeah, paste it
quick.
into the chat. That's incredible. That's like in line with well, like I had this mantra when I was really stressed out during my apartment stuff. I was like, I chose this. I chose all
Hmm.
of this. And I knew it was gonna suck. And now it's
Right.
sucking. And I'm like, yeah, that whole shame spiral. I mean, you know that 40-day shame thing that I was working on?
Yes.
It reminds me of like that. Like this is a version of like of that. I don't know. It's nice.
I put it in the Zoom chat because my YouTube's being dumb. Maybe you can copy paste it.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, your Zoom is not in the same as your YouTube.
That's it. Yeah, I have the
I just
YouTube up.
realized that.
You happen to have it. Don't be
Oh, awesome.
ashamed. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I got it. Oh, Zoom is weird. Sometimes it doesn't let you copy and paste shit.
That's
Let
weird.
me try again.
I'm gonna keep trying to log in.
No, it doesn't.
I might be able to paste it on my end after all. Okay, give me a second.
Oh wait, I think I'm
You're
figuring
being
it out.
slow, but I think I can do it.
Oh, because you know what I'm doing? Because I'm
A
using
few
my
difficulties.
fucking keyboard to type on the other
It's not
computer.
plugged in. Oh,
All right.
that'll do it.
It's too long.
Oh, it is. Okay,
Wait,
hold on.
I can figure it out. There we go. Oh, I'm commenting as Laura. My bad.
Oops,
That's okay.
it's all good. I would have commented as my own personal account anyway. Yeah, so that's the quote.
Well, that's cool.
And
Thank you for sharing that. And also thank you for bringing out the book thing because right before I was like, ooh, the book thing. So I'm reading 100 books. Are you done talking about your book?
yeah.
Okay. I've been reading the Uncommon Book of Prayer because I've been just like curious about, I don't know, prayer, everything, whatever. It's a whole part of magic.
Hmm.
Um, and this book stood out to me, and I got it a while ago. I can't remember how long ago, but the recent thing that I read yesterday, um, and like, you know, that a lot of my work is to deal with changing people's beliefs, especially when they're limiting. Like,
Hmm.
it will be overwhelming as a limiting belief. It limits you from having experiences that blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'm
Right.
always looking for different ways to say this because like getting people to understand, getting myself to understand what a belief is just really difficult, I feel like, especially for neurodivergent people. Like we take things so literally that I'm like, I don't know, what's a belief? I believe that this is a color black. I believe that this is red. But like, how do I make that into a bigger, grander way of changing my life and how I think about things?
Hmm.
So, this section was called Prayer as a Method of Liberation. Some of the negative associations many of us hold about, for this example, about prayer. So this is about the people's belief about prayer. But what they
Hmm.
said about it is, it mirrors the self-limiting beliefs. we are trying to heal and transcend, especially as they relate to personal agency, permission, change, and power. So I liked this because it put beliefs into four different categories. So
Mm-hmm.
like beliefs about permission, like people feel like some of the examples is like, um, let's see. I had a some people believe that you need permission to pray. Like if you're not a specific religion, you can't pray,
Oh, yeah.
right? So that's a limiting belief. That you need to pray perfectly or not at all. A prayer needs to be serious, scary, intimidating, or humorous. Or some people are like, I had a bad experience with religion growing up. So
Mm-hmm.
their belief is that prayer is not whatever, I don't know. Um, so I feel like I am another step closer to like trying to like package belief systems because personal agency and permission, change and power, those are definitely like the four most important things of growth, you know? And then I'm
Yes.
like, fuck, I have to figure out what my beliefs around my personal agency are in words. Like I might know them in my heart, but like I don't think I have human words to say it, you know?
Right.
And then there was another thing, they said, I've come to find that most of the misinformation, misinterpretation, and general negative connotations surrounding prayer can be tracked back to toxic masculine white supremacy and capitalism. And I liked these three categories also
Right.
because usually I'm like, well, why do you believe that? Remember, I was like, why do you believe that it will be whatever?
Mm-hmm.
How did you learn that? And most people are like, well, I guess society. I'm like, yeah, society is like the main thing. But like society has these three categories within it, right? So I feel like I can hone in if my belief is under one of these three categories. That way I can be more conscious about it and
Mm-hmm.
not and be like, well, I'm not a white supremacist, so I don't believe this. Or I'm not letting white supremacy let me believe this. This is their value, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's the whole unsubscribe, subscribe. I don't
Yeah.
subscribe to any ideas that toxic masculine people bring to me or talk, whatever that is. I just read this yesterday, so I'm still
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how I want to talk to myself about it. But the capitalism thing too, like a lot of our beliefs come from just based off, like we believe that we have to put in a certain amount of hours per week because of capitalism. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. That's the only reason. And like we go to school from 9 to 3 or 7 to 3 or whatever, so that we are prepared to go to our 9 to 5 when we're grown-ups. We believe that this is the way it is because that is a belief of a capitalist society,
Mm-hmm.
right? So bringing something to a huger thing of like, oh, okay, that's not the only thing that exists. That's just a thing that exists without even putting any positive or negative on it. Just me identifying that, okay, that is a belief system that people have, and this is the reason, and I don't have to believe that.
Yeah.
And I can look for proof that it is the only reason why I think that because I can look at other cultures around the world and be like, what do they think? What do they do? So anyway, I've been chipping away at this Uncommon Prayer book and learning little nuggets here and in there. And actually, the thing that I read right before this, I have to stop reading it after like 2 pages because I learned so much. But right
Yeah.
before this was another language hack thing that um I learned this last year in May. I remember I had little signs all over my house. I can like this is an example of things that I put around so that when I read it, I'm like, okay, I'm changing my language from this to this. And an example is affirmative speech is I choose, I have, I can, I will, I love, I create, I enjoy, I empower. I empower myself, I imagine. Um, as opposed to scarcity, which is I want, I need. Saying I want and I need assumes that that you're agreeing. Okay, want is a domain of lack and scarcity. Every time you say I want, you're agreeing with wanting or not having. Start by changing any states of wanting to choosing or having. So I want cereal. Instead, you would say I choose to have cereal. Or if you don't have cereal, you'll say I'm gonna have cereal.
Mm.
It's so hard,
Yeah,
language, man, words.
that
And I feel
definitely,
like
it's a
that,
definitely a regular daily thing to work on. It's a skill
yeah,
that you can spend years practicing.
especially if what we say out loud is what will happen. It's important. I can
Hmm.
pinpoint times when I've said things and I'm like, well, that thing did happen. I said it and I believed it would happen. So that's what I'm up to over here.
I love the idea of you taking it in bite-sized portions because books that are really dense with messaging, you can't just breeze through it or you're going to miss stuff. It really makes sense to take it in small parts until something hits and it's like, oh, this is what I'm going to focus on. This is what I'm going to process today. And then I'll come back to it and process something else. I feel like you're really getting the most out of it. Like instead of horfing down a meal, you're appreciating each piece of it and
Hmm.
savoring it.
Yeah. And understanding like all of its flavors and textures
And
before I move
nourishment.
on. Yeah. Yeah. Before I can move on to like trying something new.
Mhm. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Highly recommend if you're reading a nonfiction book that is dense cover to cover with golden nuggets of wisdom that you take your time with it.
That
Everybody reads at different speeds, but I think it also depends on what you're reading. So like if you're reading a story, it's easy to just not be able to put it down. But when you're reading nonfiction that is directly impactful for you as a person, like self-help or just in general awareness type books like that, I feel like it's important to take your time with them.
yeah. Yeah. It's like a textbook. And like
Mhm.
also when I learn a new thing, I need to go like implement it into the world so that I can
Mhm.
work on processing something else.
It's huge. I love that so much.
Bird, bird.
I love the little book club segment. I think it needs to be official. And I already added my quote to our little debrief because I
Oh,
saw you
good.
already added my top part too.
Nice. Okay, good.
But yeah, yeah.
Love this system.
Cool. So now that we've done our little book club section, we can move on to the meat of it, which is our four sections that we do. We do the brain dump, which focuses on the present. We do reflective questions, which focuses on the past. And then we pivot into top 20, which transitions us into the future. And we do calendar, which is where we commit ourselves to the things that we pull out in top 20. So I just realized my thing is not pulled up yet. So let's pull this out and begin the video. Oop. Okay, and let me share
Maybe I'm gonna redo the little thingy,
window.
our little facilitator guide, so that we can talk about what the hell we're meeting for right in the beginning. Excuse
Hmm.
me.
Yeah, I like that.
And then add in the book club thing.
Hmm. All right, so we are going to start with the brain dump, which is the first thing that we do in our planning process. And it's for the purpose of getting everything out from our brain so that we can move forward and not worry about forgetting something. So, usually, especially when you're neurodivergent, you have limited brain space sometimes, and it'll be cluttered up with a bunch of things. So we want to declutter the mind. We want to bring focus and clarity, reduce our stress, promote organization and production, and leave space for creativity. So you'll want to use the time to just jot down everything taking up space in your brain and anything that pops up along the way. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I find usually I'll end up having a writing space and a list so I can jot things down on a list and then go on to start writing. whatever is on my mind. And then if something pops up, I can pop it in the list and go back to just blocks of text. But some people do only lists and some people do only journaling, just whatever's taking up space so you can move on and plan. And you can use different categories or any realm of things. There's ideas on the screen, but we'll take 20 minutes to do this, and then we'll move on to reflect on the past week.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. How'd we do?
Pretty good. Looks like I'm going to be focusing on myself this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, I have a
Are you
lot of.
giving yourself a chance to sleep in?
I am, and I've been like doing that. Like last week, I've been like waking up and then going back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But more so, I just have like internal work to do, you know? Like I've
Yeah.
learned a lot of information and had a lot of feelings, and now I need to go investigate and shit, you know?
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect time for it.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm excited. What about you?
I decided to write a bit more about the book that I just read. Since I'm going to be needing to review it anyway, because I'm trying to review all these indie books to help them have a good launch.
Hmm.
Um, I just decided to gush about it in my writing space, and then I'll pull stuff out from that to put in my review. Well, it's all fresh in my mind and whatnot.
Beautiful.
Alrighty, so um, next we have reflective questions. So we've dealt with the pressing things for the current brain, and we're going to think back and use this as a memory exercise to remember what the last week has been like. We want to ask ourselves, how was the week? How did I perform in my various roles as an adult? Did I achieve the goals that I set for myself? We want to use victories and almost to think about what we were able to accomplish and should be proud of ourselves for, or what we didn't quite get around to, and maybe want to follow up with next week, this week rather. We also, so we want to ask ourselves, what could I have done differently? And is there anything that I need to follow up on? And again, don't judge or shame yourself for these. It's mostly for the purpose of memory exercise and planning. So we'll take 10 minutes for that, and then we'll come back for the top 20.
Hey, thank you.
All right. That's our 10. How are you feeling?
Oh, good. I forgot you were there. I
Ah, I mean,
started doing some other
that's a good.
things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just fucking around in Notion as I started. I couldn't really get into reflection.
Hmm.
I was so focused on what the week is going to be like. I guess I was panicking.
Ah, you're already in future mode.
Yeah. I think
All
that
right.
so I so this new information I learned in the last couple weeks, I'm like, oh, I need to update this thing while I'm looking at it. So I'm kind of doing
Hmm.
that thing.
Okay.
Still planning mode.
That's good. We're not out of it yet. We're just ready to jump ahead a little sooner. That's fair. Um, well, whew. In the realm of future planning, um, we have our top 20, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull out roughly 20 ideas, tasks, and whatnot from our reflective questions in brain dump. It does not have to be 20 things, but we just want to try to keep it under 20 so that we're not overwhelming ourselves. We want to add structure to our thoughts now that we've let them flow freely. We want to focus on the most important things and practice prioritizing what's feasible for the week. So you can use categories for later reference, label the urgency, all that good stuff. And we'll take 15 minutes for that, and then we'll come back and add it to our calendar.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. How'd you do?
Not too bad, not too bad. Definitely decided I need a nap after this, in
Oh,
order to be able to
really?
do some of the stuff I wanted. Hmm. Yeah, I am very sleepy and I want to get things done to prepare and make up for the time that I'll be. I didn't get enough sleep last night. How'd you do?
Pretty good. Um, I'm waiting to hear back from Laura which day she's going into the office. And I think that's
Mhm.
gonna help me figure out when I'm doing everything in my top 20.
Okay, nice. But you got it laid out.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. A lot of it is I'm really into wrapping up my meditation teacher training, at
Hmm.
least this one, because I have like a few more to go. And so one of the things that you have to do in meditation teacher training is like write and record meditations. So it's
Hmm.
difficult to do without much privacy or like um and I so Laura just taught me how to make music in on a computer on this app. So I'm
Nice.
more amped up to create these. So I want to get those done.
Yeah, I'm glad you get another chance to scratch the creative itch in your brain.
Yeah, man. Excited. I spent all day the other day making this 11-minute track for a somatic healing meditation. And usually
Hmm.
somatic healing meditations can be long, like 30, 40, an hour.
Hmm.
But I want to see what I can come up with in this 11 minutes.
That sounds so different and unique. I love that. I
Yeah.
love this little project.
And the music behind it is not typical meditation music. Like one of my issues with listening to meditations on YouTube or wherever is that the vibe is almost too calm for me sometimes.
Hmm.
I know, interesting. So we'll see what I come up with.
Okay. Very nice. Well, our last section might be a little trickier for you because we're waiting to hear back about the schedule, but there's still other aspects of it that you can add to your calendar.
Mhm.
So we want to visualize a successful week by accounting for the following and adding them to your calendar. So we want to pull things from our top 20 list, of course, but we also want to account for things like time blocks for non-committals, creative time, admin things like emails and chores and things like that. Domestics would go into the chores as well, meal prep, and we want to account for the weather. Even if we're not going to be outside a lot, sometimes it can impact different aspects of our life. So we want to think about the weather as well. Um, and we want to consider things like breaks for pet care, stretching, nature, entertainment, meals, and whatnot. So we don't block ourselves up with too many things on our calendars. So we'll take 10 minutes for that, and then we will come back and wrap up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So, how are we feeling?
Pretty good. Um, yeah, it looks like it's going to be an easy week. And by easy, I mean it looks clear to me what's possible.
Very nice. That's why we do this.
Yeah. How about you?
About the same, not too bad. I've got a few things plugged in here, but nothing too overwhelming. And hopefully, I will get some more rest this week. Um, yeah, overall, this is not an overly eventful week, which is good because I've got some more eventful weeks coming up. And today might take a lot out of me socially after having already had a social night last night. So I'm glad that I'll get a chance to curl up in my hobbit hole and read some more indie books this week in between doing stuff.
Sure. That sounds lovely. Yeah, I left a lot of room to be off.
Your non-committal time blocks.
Yeah, my non-committal time blocks. That's right.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, um, I would say good meeting overall. We're out of here by 11 noon.
Yeah.
Um,
Good. What are you doing? You're gonna take a nap after this?
I'm gonna take a nap and then I'm gonna do some dishes, empty the litter box, and then get ready to go do game day.
All right. I'm going
Hmm.
into the city to visit a friend and cut my hair.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, you enjoy that, and I guess we may or may not would meet on Tuesday, but we can talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, since we weren't able to get the thing to try out,
Oh, right, right. Yeah. Okay.
but yeah, we
Yeah,
can
we'll
meet up on that
reschedule
and
internally on that.
coordinate. All right, guys. Well, thank you. If anyone
Yeah,
ends up watching this
everyone.
later, hope you have a great day and see you next week.
Bye.